In this video we're going to look at WebProtege 2.1. What you see here is a screenshot of WebProtege running in a browser, and the tab you see that's open is tab for editing classes and descriptions of classes. And in order to demonstrate the features of WebProtege 2, I'm going to create a small ontology about cars, and you can imagine that this ontology will be used to mark up information on a web page that sells cars or describes cars, such as BMW's web page or Audi's web page, that sort of thing. So I've already got a couple of classes in my ontology, and I'm going to start expanding things now. So I'm going to select automobile over here and create a new kind of subclass of automobile. So consumer automobile. And also I'm going to create another subclass, commercial automobile. And now under here I'm going to create some different kinds of automobiles. I'm going to focus on Volkswagens in this ontology. So we're going to create different kinds of Volkswagen cars. Just before I do that, I just want to say by default you might see over here the description of the classes on the right hand side, and by default WebProtege creates classes and it supplies a unique IRI for each class. In this case it uses a globally unique identifier appended to a base, and for the class name it attaches a label as an annotation. All of this is configurable, and you can have different strategies. You can specify different bases, or you can specify different strategies that name things in sequential fashions. So for example, if you're editing something like an OBO ontology, you can specify an integer and then automatically increment that integer for each new class that you create. So we've got our Volkswagen automobile here, and I'm going to add a comment. So I move over to my description side, to my properties, and I'm just going to type in here. And you can see that we've got some auto completion here. So the system's looking at what different annotation properties we've got. We've got all of the built-in ones. In this case I just want to use RDFS comment. So I'm going to say here an automobile designed and manufactured by Volkswagen. I can even say that the language of this comment is in English. And I might say also something like see also, and in this case I want to put in Volkswagen's website, Volkswagen.com. If we've got an IRI, I can just click this little arrow here, and in a new window I can browse to the website. It does this for the links as well. So I've specified some properties here. We've also used our own built-in annotation properties here, but we can also specify our own. So as we're going along, suppose we wanted to add a to-do comment here, to do, and now the system's saying, okay, you're allowed to do this, but to do is a new property name. Maybe you've made a mistake, but in this case we haven't. We don't want to specify this. Fill out some subclasses of commercial vehicle. And once we've done that, it says, okay, I think you want to do this, and the warning goes away. So we can specify our own properties, different properties. Here we've got an annotation property. There's no need to create the properties beforehand. We can just specify them as we need them. So we'll go back to Volkswagen here, and at this point we've made various changes in the ontology, and one of the features of WebProtege is that it can track these changes and keep a complete history of the changes. So there's various ways we can view the changes. I can look at this changes view in the user interface. I'll just move this down for the moment. And you can see all of the changes here. In this case that we've made to Volkswagen. So in this case we created a class, and as part of this it's added a label and made it a subclass of automobile. And then we've also edited the class description. We've added this RDFS comment and see also comments. And if I can select different classes, I see all of the changes that have been made to that particular class description. We can also, I'll just close this off, we can also look at complete revisions of the ontology. So in this case, oops, I've made various changes and all of the change sets are recorded in the background. So I've actually made 9 sets of changes, multiple changes in each set. And I got, for each set, I can actually go and download the ontology as it was at that point. So if I look at this revision 6 and I press download, I can download the ontology up to this point and disregard the rest, so I can compare different versions of the ontology in a tool of my choice. I'll close that off for now. So we've got all these changes. So let's just fill this ontology out a little bit, and I'll add some different kinds of Volkswagen car. Now, WebProtege can save us some pointing and clicking here again. So suppose that I wanted to add these cars: Golf, Polo, Jetta, Passat, Beetle. You can see I can actually type multiple names into here, and WebProtege will create all of the classes. Again, this is really useful. It saves me going backwards and forwards to this point and click, and adds all the new classes in according with all the settings we've got, so generating unique IDs for each one and adding the appropriate labels. So I'll just add another annotation property onto here. You've seen the built-in ones, but we also have SCOS ones in here. So in this case, I want to add in alt label. This is a SCOS property, and say, okay, this thing is also known as a rabbit in the USA. If I want to put languages on these again, as so. Now let's add some different kinds of golfs. So golf standard edition. Again, I can put multiple classes in here. Golf estate, golf GTI, golf TDI. You can see, because I'm using labels, you can freely put spaces in things. It makes it look much nicer. Cabriolet. And I think that's enough for now. Control Enter, that closes that and adds them all in. So we've got some golfs and some different kinds of cars here. Now, suppose we wanted to describe these things in a little bit more detail, so we want to fill some things out. Let's suppose we wanted to describe cars and classify cars by the different kinds of body types or body styles. So up here in automobile, I'm going to put on automobile. We're going to say we're going to have a new property as body style. Again, the system says, okay, you're creating a new property, are you sure? Just in case you mistyped it. And in this case, I want to say it's going to be a subclass of body style. And in this case, we've got a choice. We can either create these things as a new kind of class, new kind of individual or data type. In this case, we want body style to be a class. So each car has a particular body style, and there's different categories of body style. And once we do that, we say, okay, yeah, we're sure, we specify a value for it, this warning goes away, and we've got a new class here, body style. So we could actually use this as well. Now it's in the system as well. So suppose we wanted to specify a cabriolet. This has body style, and we wanted kind of body style here, sports or sport, and that's a class again. You notice that classes that I'm adding as I go along don't show up in the hierarchy, but I can quite easily just do a refresh here. So I want all of these to come up. At the moment they come up at the top level, and once I've added these, I can start to move things around. So I can drag and drop. Yes, I am sure. So we've got our different body styles here. I can create a few more of them. What else do we want? Say hatchback, SUV, convertible, sedans, station wagon. We've already got sports. So we've got different kinds of body style, and I might want to specify here that Actually, I specified on the cabriolet it's got a body style of sport. Well, actually, I meant to change this to convertible. Probably I meant to specify the Golf GTI having a sporty body style. There's also a hatchback. So I could fill these out as I go along here. So we've got some object properties and different values for them. At the moment I've just specified classes for the object properties, but it's quite easy to create individuals. So if I wanted to do something like a Volkswagen automobile, have a new property as a manufacturer, and in this case Volkswagen. In this case, Volkswagen's a company, there's only one of them, so we're just going to have an individual rather than the class. There's not a class of Volkswagen companies. So here we've got an individual as opposed to a class to specify that every instance of Volkswagen automobile is manufactured by Volkswagen. So one of the things that WebProtege features as well, and it's down here, is this notes window, and you can add semantic notes onto your ontology for discussions, proposals, suggest changes and things. So if we select something like station wagon here, I can say, okay, I want to create a new note, press this down here, new topic, and I could say something like here, so change name to state. I think that station wagons are more commonly known as estate cars. Should we change the name of this class to reflect this? And actually it's more than comments, it's actually a proposal. I'm making a change, so I'm going to say, okay, it's a proposal, and click accept, and we can see the note down here. And one of the key things is then, okay, it shows the note's been authored by me and when it was authored, but I can also reply to this. If I'm the person who created it, I could edit it, or even delete it, unless there's replies to it. Let me clear that. And I'm just going to add a comment onto this proposal. I know it's me editing, but you could imagine it's somebody else. So here I want to say, okay, let's think a bit more about this. We'll get back to you tomorrow. Always put things off. And then as you can see in the notes field, we've got a reply. We can actually have a tree of replies, so that's quite nice. So you've seen some of the basic features of WebProtege. It's available on webprotege-beta.stanford.edu. You can go and create your own ontologies and give it a try. When you're creating your own ontologies and you're the owner, you can specify whether actually other people can view them. So by default, this ontology won't appear in the list of ontologies on webprotege-beta.stanford.edu, but I could actually say, okay, yes, I want it to, so make this ontology public, and I can specify different permissions. So in this case, I just want people to be able to view it. If I wanted other people to edit it, I can actually specify specific people. So for example, suppose I wanted Natasha to edit it, and she's already in the system as a user. Let me go back there. Natasha Noy, we can add her as an editor. And we can build up a list of people. So Timothy Redmond as well. Yeah, he can edit it, I trust him. That should be public. So now when other people come along, they can edit it and make contributions to it, and we can have all this kind of discussion. So that's it. Give it a try. As I say, webprotege-beta.stanford.edu.